Hi guys, thank you very much for tuning into another video of my life, and in this video we are going to do an unboxing of a couple of webcams, mainly the Creative Live Cam Sync 1080p V2, which is a full HD webcam with auto mute and noise cancellation for video calls. This camera is on a budget end of the spectrum. I'm sure you can spend 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120 pounds on a webcam. However, this is supposed to give you better quality than probably the built-in webcam that you have in your laptop, most likely. And also it should be useful for your day-to-day use. So speaking to family, friends, and perhaps even if you speak to customers, but you don't really want to spend too much on a web camera, or for your office meetings, a camera like this I think is going to be perfectly fine for you. As always with all my videos, I'm going to talk about the sort of product I've been using currently and what caused me to actually go in the market to search for a budget camera in the first place. I won't be doing any video samples or picture samples because there's already another guy on YouTube who's done that, and he's done an excellent, brilliant, enthusiastic job of that as well, which I looked at. So instead of repeating any work, he's already done a good job, and you can have a look at his channel for other webcams, including the one that I'm reviewing today. As always, in the description as well as in the comment section, you will have the affiliate links. Please use them. It does help the channel in a very small way and doesn't cost anything extra. My affiliate links are with eBay. I tend to find that the prices are generally better, and there are more likelihood of you finding a bargain on eBay, I think, than there are on Amazon's, although you can find it on Amazon as well occasionally. But here's the camera. Now, I bought this on eBay as well, just so you know, and I actually paid quite a bit less than what the market value might be, and also quite a bit less than what it sells for on Amazon for sure. Prices can change up and down, but all I can say is it was very reasonably priced. It was also labeled as refurbished, but having opened the box up already, I mean, you can't really tell at all. It does look absolutely brand new to me, and I feel like I was the first person to peel the sticker off. As you know, usually I like to do unboxings, which are what I call virgin unboxings. They've not been opened up at all, but with this one I did decide to open it before, and the reason is I didn't want to test something, I didn't want to review something and say that this is what I'm using and I like it without actually testing it first myself. And the thing with webcams is they're a bit hit and miss. Sometimes they promise a lot, and then when you start using them they don't deliver. And with this one there is a slight niggle, which I'll talk about later, but it's easy to fix, and which is why I'm still having the affiliate links in my description. I would only recommend something I'm happy to use myself, for example, and I will be using this. As with most of my videos as well, I talk a little bit about the background as to where I am currently and what made me decide to buy something else. And this is what I'm using currently. Why am I using this one? Because my laptop camera actually stopped working. Okay, so it stopped working. It's working intermittently. The laptop couldn't define it. And this is a hand-me-down. So I haven't bought this myself. You might be able to buy this on Amazon or eBay or who knows where. But it's made in China. It's a 2K 4 megapixel sensor full HD camera. I'm not sure if it is 2K, I'm unsure, I've not tested it out, but this is what I'm using right now. And I think it's important to compare a camera like this with a camera like that, because chances are this one is going to cost a bit more than this. And you might say, well, should I go for a Chinese brand which make very high quality products? You know, you've got people like TechNet, for example, Tautronics, Soundpiece. I'm sure these are all Chinese manufacturers, but they make good good quality products at a reasonable price. And so we're going to talk about that and how it compares to this one, because I've actually compared these two side by side to kind of come to my own conclusion as to, is it worthwhile going for a sort of well-known Japanese American brand versus these other pseudo Chinese brands which also do a brilliant job at it. And I think that is a question that is important to ask yourself when you are in the market for a camera. As always, I will put timestamps in the video, so if you wanted to skip straight to the unboxing of this one, you could go ahead and do that. Of course, anyone who's been watching most of my videos, I do talk a lot. I'm sorry about that, but it just allows me to kind of demonstrate my thoughts before I've made my decision. So we'll unbox this one. Well, you can have a look at this one sort of around. This is the kind of package it comes with. You can have a look at the printing quality and so on, but the main thing with these ones, and they're not focused too much on the quality of the box necessarily, it's more the video itself. And this one has a very wide angle, camera really, and it comes with its pros and cons. So here are the specifications. As you can see, I'll just pause a second, and it'll make more sense why I'm talking about this camera first, and it'll be easier to then talk about the Creative Live Cam Sync 1080p V2. So you can see here, I'll turn on the camera flashlights. You can see the sensor, so it's a 4 megapixels, 1/2.9 f range. Best image range is 1.5 to 5 meters. Lens is 3.5, I'm guessing 3.6, sorry, megapixels. And it's got a few other sort of how wide of a resolution it is and so on, pickup distance and audio bitrate and all those sorts of things. And this is a very wide angle lens. Okay, so if you want really wide angle, this is much wider than this one. It causes a bit of a problem with something though. So this has a little bit of a fisheye. By the way, just for the record, I've had great feedback from this. Okay, people have literally said, "Oh, you look great, you look good, you look fine, you look excellent." Without prompt, people have said that. So one thing I would say is that these Chinese brands, so this one is Tao 2O. Remember, this is a hand-me-down. I haven't bought this myself. Someone else gave this to me. Produces great colors. I mean, I can't complain on the color. The sharpness is probably about the same as this, but it has actually more resolution. It has more detail. So let me give you an example. If behind you there's a wallpaper with flowers in them, this will pick up more petals in that flower than this one. Okay, this one, what it does is it uses the sharpening, the digital sharpening, to make the image look even sharper than it actually is. And it does kind of work, but this actually does have more pixels. And it does say, 4K on it, and 2K, sorry, and they're not lying about that. And it does pick up more detail. So for a Chinese source of brand, which you might not have heard about before, I mean, it is a registered trademark. It does an excellent job, and I've done a lot of meetings on this camera, and I've got no complaints insofar as the sound. It picks up sound really well. I mean, it's got 2 mics on it. Whether it meets in stereo or not, I don't know. It probably is stereo, but I can just see the one hole there for the mic, so I'm not entirely sure about that. But the sound on this, I've got great feedback on. I can hear you clearly. They can see me clearly. The color temperature is really good. The detail is very nice. And in all honesty, usually when I'm on this camera, people think it's much more professional than what it needs to be for an office meeting. So all praises to this camera. So why would I actually want to change to something else anyway? And the reason is on this camera, and I think it's to do with how wide it is. When you are on the Teams meeting, or when you are on some other software, but definitely Teams, it doesn't. I think it's the fisheye, slight fishiness. Remember, that fisheye doesn't affect you or the center of the vision. It's more the background is a bit fisheye, only very slightly, but not noticeable to someone else. But you can see it yourself if you pay attention. With this one, it doesn't do that fancy background thing. Okay, so on Teams, it actually doesn't work at all. If you use something like Jitsi, it does kind of work, but not as well. Not as well. Okay, and I think that is because it's so wide, and that sort of distortion, if you like, the minutest distortion, but it is there. I think it stops the background detection thing from working properly, and then it inserting the background image there, which you want, which is what I want, because sometimes if I'm working from home, for example, I don't want anyone to see my background at all. And even if I try to blur it with this one, it just wasn't even working. So I tried to turn the blur on, and it wouldn't work. On Jitsi, it would work, but it wouldn't work nicely. So, start blurring part of your body or part of your edges of your body and so on. You don't want that. So even though this is a great camera, I've had great feedback on the mic. In fact, I've had the feedback that the mic in the camera is better than my laptop mic. So there you go. And my laptop is kind of mid-range or even mid to budget range kind of thing. The image is fine. The build quality is fine. It's worked fine. There is no reason for me to kind of switch to something else. Because the background thing isn't working on this one, I've had to switch to a different camera. But there you go. You still get a manual. You still got the website. And what I'm saying is these Chinese brands, they're perfectly fine in terms of the price to quality ratio. And like I said, I'm not sure what this camera sells for, but this will pick up more detail in a background or even on yourself, really, because it's a 4 megapixel sensor compared to this one. I actually don't even know the megapixel sensor on this, but the key thing for me was to have a camera which picks up the background in the right way, so that I can use something in the background without anyone seeing what's there, right? So I can use a filter, for example. But this one, you can see the key features here. You got the 1080p, 30 frames per second, 77 degrees viewing angle. This is a lot wider than that, by the way. So if you want a wide angle, definitely go for wide. But this one, you know, 77. I think it's the right balance. It's not too wide, it's not too thin. You can see a bit of a background. It's not just your head and shoulders, which I think is sometimes too tight. It's got the dual built-in mic, plug and play, you know, privacy lens cap as well, which you can see this one doesn't have, but this one does, which you'll see shortly. And this one, right, smart comms kit. This is really nice, actually. That's the sort of thing you won't get with these kind of cameras. The reason these things cost more, of course, because they're also developing a software which you then end up using. With this one, it's almost essential that you use this one. I'll talk to you a little bit about that and why. So let's have a look at, let's put this aside for now. We can bring this in later. But here it is. Here's the front. Have a look at that. Here's the sides. Okay, here's the other side. The other side, the bottom. Okay, so hopefully you can see all that nice and clear. And here's the top. All right, so let's open this up from the top now. Okay, be gentle with it. I don't like causing damage to boxes and stuff like that. There's a creative.com QR code for live cam you'll need stuff like that, by the way. You'll need to go to places like that to download the software. It doesn't pick up on Google, by the way, so you definitely have to use these specific links to get there. I have tested this already because I didn't want to just start reviewing something which later on transpires to not actually be that good, and webcams can be a bit hit and miss. So I wanted to do you guys justice and first use it myself, test it out myself, and then do the unboxing. So this is the manual. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys are interested in this, but as you can see, it opens up this way. I'm not going to open it. Well, I will open it all the way. Let's do it anyway. So there you go. It's quite a big document in different languages. But the key point is you can get the PDF for this from the online website anyway. But here it is. This is a big piece of this is A3, long A3. I'm not sure what paper size this is. Okay, tripod mount. It's plug and play, so you just plug it in your computer. It wasn't detecting this camera as easily as this other Chinese one, but once it detected it, it sorted itself out. But it was taking a little bit, it was a bit more finicky to detect this one. I have no idea why. Of course, this is an actual brand, you know, they've got extra support for Windows and so forth, but yeah, not sure why, but it was having a bit of trouble, but then it picked up fine. So here's the USB cord, and the USB cord is longer as well, so that's is about it's quite long. So there you go. It's quite a long sort of USB cable compared to this one. Okay, this probably, my guess would be this is something that's standard, and I'll just show you the difference between the two actually. Okay, so hard to compare with this, and I'm not going to measure it or anything like that, but you can visualize it here. I've equalized the cables. They're still going, you can see, still there, right? And it's this much extra. So it's definitely kind of extra. There's a couple of extra features as well that you get. Of course, I'm guessing the creative one is going to cost more than this Tao 2 branded one. And I'll talk to you about a couple of other features there. So, take this plastic thing out. Okay, and there's the build and quality, etc. Take a couple of moments for you to see it closely. You've got the matte texture. You've got the two different sort of speaker grills, sort of a vibe going on. I'm sure there's two microphones behind that. You can just see a little dot there, and that dot is where the light turns on. So when the camera is in use, it's a white light, just so you know. This is a rubbery kind of touch, but same kind of texture as is the front. Take it out like this. Put it back, and I can say that moving this, okay, does not affect you, sort of this thing here, right? So let's say if it's like that, and you want to take this off and take this on, but you don't want to mess around with the angle, it doesn't. So it's just the right amount of pressure, if that makes sense. Okay. So privacy filter, important for some people. Even if you just do it like this and it's a little bit open, I'm sure nothing's going to come through anyway. Okay, that's the top. That's the side. That's the back. And I'm just going to try to catch the light on it so that you can kind of read what's there as much as possible. See if I can get a close up. There you go. So it's like shiny lighting there. bis.gov.in. Wonder, is that Indonesia? Is that India? Okay. You can see the serial number here, okay? And you can see that serial number on the webcam matches the serial number here on the box. Maybe that's, you know, similar to perfumes where it kind of gives you some level of authenticity. It is also adjustable vertically like this, and also 360 like that, okay? So you can have it at any sort of weird angle, weird and wonderful angle that you want, and that too combined with the ability to adjust this angle on your laptop as well. So I think that's pretty cool. As you can see with this one, it doesn't have a twist swivel kind of thing. It just has the up and down, okay? Up and down in addition to this way. This one is also lighter than this one. This one feels a little bit heavier. This one feels a bit lighter, just so you know. But the quality of build is very good, as you can see in front of you, okay? So there you go. That's the Lycam, guys. At the end of it, both the cameras have something like this, which is a fusey thing, I'm guessing. But there's not much else to say about this, to be honest, guys. It says focal length is 2.4. It's got a 4-element lens, digital mic array, 1080p. So now we'll talk a little bit about the software, the smart comms. So the smart comm software allows you to adjust the white balance as well as the hue. You can adjust how so the mic kind of stops detecting any sound once you stop talking. So it has like a voice detection feature, and it also has a background noise cancellation feature. Now, of course, all of those things are not built in, or you don't get an app for that. You'd probably have to download a different app or some third-party app probably to manage something like this. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure, if I'm honest with you. But with this one, you get an official creative one, which you can use. And you will, in my opinion, need to use that, and I'll tell you why. Remember I said this one represents the colors better. 100% true, okay? This one has a washed out image, no doubt about that. It shows you a very washed out, faded image, which is digitally enhanced and sharpened, and it doesn't look the best in my opinion. So what I then did was I downloaded the Smart Comms kit, which is available on their website for Windows machines, and then by going there, I turned off the auto mode for the video, and I turned off the white balance, if I remember correctly, and I left it at 6500 or something, whereas there's only 3 settings. I think it's like 3000, 4500, 6500, something like that, and I think the default is 4500, which gives off washed out colors, but you want to change it to 6500. And when I changed it to 6500, it was showing me the colors much more accurately, as good as this camera, or even better than this camera. Like I said, this one is a higher megapixel count probably in terms of the sensor than this one, which does mean that in the background there'll be a bit more detail picked up on this. But in reality, side by side, you know, I had both of them on my camera over Teams, over something else that I don't think is going to make any difference, if I'm honest with you, once you adjust the color. If you don't adjust the color, I would have been disappointed with this, I'm not going to lie. This one is a better camera overall, even though it can't do the background thing, purely because of the color and the overall look and the feel of the video. But once you fix the color on this one, this is now a better camera, because you've got the swivel, if that's important to you, you've got the privacy shield, if that's what's important to you, you've got the software which you can use, it's got the background noise cancellation, it's got the auto mute the mic once you stop talking, it'll automatically engage the mic once you start talking. So it just overall has a lot more features. And if that means it's not as crisp as this one, it is plenty crisp, by the way, but if the background isn't as crisp, and remember, I'm only getting this to actually get the background out of the way. So if the background isn't that crisp, who cares, right? Who cares? Because the background is not what I'm focused on. I'm just focused on how you look and how clearly it does the background blur. And this is going to do a better job with Teams, etc., on background blur than this one. I'm pretty sure about that. And that is everything I have to say about this webcam. I hope I didn't forget anything, but if you want to know anything else about it, please let me know in the comments section below. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. I really, really appreciate every single one. I'm nearly at 400 subscribers, which I just absolutely can't believe. So can't thank you guys enough. I really appreciate it. So hopefully you liked this video. If you are in the market for a budget webcam, I think this is a great option. I bought it refurbished. It was on eBay, well under, £20. I think I paid £15 or something for it. It was really, really good. And I hope this video helps you. So like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you very much for tuning into my life. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.